mega fish stocks of supreme quality, unique treasures of shapes and colors one can barely imagine, some of which are well known and others yet to be discovered and brought to surface. A perfectly balanced ecosystem has made our northern waters an exceptional source of food for humans, a basis of existence for coastal communities today and in the past, a foundation for good health and prosperity, a major source of income for the whole nation, an attraction to visitors from all over the world. Harvesting the ocean is what we do and what we have always done. And by implementing new green technology, we are increasing the harvest, intending to provide even more first-class seafood to the whole world in the future. As 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, possibilities seem endless. And with a sustainable approach, we can prevent the source from drying out. Innovation and new technology, curiosity and dedication. It will take the brightest minds and some hard work to secure a sustainable and profitable exploitation of our common marine resources. But it is not an undoable task. The future of the ocean is in our hands.
Welcome to Norfishing Digital. In 3 programs, we will be focusing on 3 main areas which can make our industry more sustainable. These are green fishing, food or feed, and the migration of species. Of course, the overall theme of Norfishing is solutions, and everything here is in place for the industry to share solutions to improve our quest for more food from the sea. Remember that on our webpage there is additional relevant content you can watch at your own leisure. But first, you can see a little bit of what we have for you in this, our first episode. Every year at the Norfishing we have the Monday Conference, where politicians, scientists and industry leaders share their knowledge, and we have discussions to set the agenda for what is important for the fishing industry. Take a look at this.
What we need to do is to try to work with an industry that is able to have less environmental impact, producing less greenhouse gases, less impact on species that are not targeted.
You should protect the habitat, you should reduce the bycatch, and so that everything that you catch and bring on board the ship is what you really want and what you can sell.
I'm very glad to see that all the presentations are going to the same way as we are trying to do in Brazil. New technology to fishing better than fishing more.
So it's going to be increasing demands for efficiency, there's going to be increasing demands for animal welfare, there's going to be increasing demands for fish quality, and so on.
We have a good fishery management system in Norway, ensuring that when stocks are going down, for example, we have the mechanisms in place to try to counter that and rebuild them.
It doesn't help if one country makes a huge effort, but it needs a global effort, yes.
Carbon price, what to do, what is the goal, has to be a common international regulation.
We are part of the European Economic Area and we should use that political possibility to shape a new climate change policy for fishery. And Norway, as a big nation when it comes to fishery, should take the lead on this. More fishing gives you new ideas, new impressions from highly qualified people. It's interesting.
I think it's also important that experts and fishermen and producers and developers are meeting and learning from each other and getting those connections, and I think that's something that North Fishing can do.
Sig Hansen is probably one of the most famous fishermen in our industry. He's not just a captain out there in the rough seas fishing for crab, he also has thoughts on how to make the fishing industry greener. I had a chat with him earlier. Sig Hansen, one of the themes for this year's Nordfishing is ghost fishing. And I know that you have some clear views on how you think we should handle that problem.
Well, I mean, our company, Rescue Unit, has invested into ghost fishing now for a few years. And I find it interesting that the Norwegian government, God bless them, I understand that they're putting a lot of money to use to clean out the oceans, or to clean out the harbors. I get it, because that is ghost fishing, but I would rather try to put money into solving the problem itself, which is losing the gear in the first place. So, you know, after they clean it, you got to keep it clean. And I believe I have a pretty good solution for that.
Yeah, so you think more effort should be put in the start of the problem, not the end of the problem?
I do. And like anything else. But you always see things later, you know what I mean? You learn from your mistakes. God knows I have, you know, when it comes to fishing and lost gear and things of that nature. So yeah, that's where if you're going to spend money, that's a wise way to spend it.
If we are going to make the fisheries more sustainable, we have to solve different challenges. And one of them is ghost fishing. And I'm here with Christian Landmark. You are a senior advisor at the Directorate of Fisheries in Norway. And how big is the problem of ghost fishing, Christian?
Well, the problem is big in some kind of fisheries, for example in gillnet fisheries, especially after Greenland halibut, for example. It's very deep there and it's difficult to retrieve the gear if you lose it.
And other species is not that...
Of course, we have had big problems in pots. Yeah. If you lose the pots, the catch cannot get out. The pots are very, it's good quality, they will not rotten. But the last year we have introduced something we call escape gaps, which is made of cotton.
Yeah.
So it's just cotton thread, and the cotton thread will, after some months, rotten, and then a hole will open and the catch can get free. But the problem isn't solved. We still get marine pollution and microplastic and things like that. But
I've seen
the ethical problem is solved.
The problem of getting the crab and whatever out is solved, but the gear is still there lying in the sea.
Yeah.
And I've seen, for instance, at Austevoll, when they're getting ready to do snow crab, all the pupils from the high school are there sewing on the cotton threads. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what kind of solutions do you see as the viable in order to handle this problem?
Yeah, it's two ways to solve it. You can stop losing gear. I don't think that's possible. And you can make gear of some degradable fabrics, threads. I don't know, but I think there will be some solution in the future. Then the gear will just dissolve after a year or something like that. But
because
that's high tech.
For cages, these cages are very expensive. So I assume the fishermen don't want to lose them.
No, of course. They don't want to lose any gear, but you can be unlucky and sometimes there's weather and things happen.
In our age, technology, is there solutions with like sensors and things that you can use in order to find it again and to locate it?
There's a lot of innovation in sensor and things like that. So I think in future we will be able to search it up But of course that's costs some money also. But I also believe that we will make easy solution. Like for example, you can have a solution with a thin rope on your pot, and you just tie it up with cotton thread. After some time, this will come up to the sea, and you can retrieve it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, something simple. I think that's maybe it's the solution instead of GPS and things like that.
But for the bigger boats, the large vessels,
Yeah.
the gear is of course much bigger
Yeah,
and more costly.
more costly. Yeah.
But what can you as the governmental agency do to help us meet this challenge?
Yeah. Since 1993, we have we have searched for lost gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
With
we
your own vessels?
No, we hire a fishing boat.
Yeah.
We need a big vessel and a good vessel. so we if you lose gear as a professional fisherman, you have to report it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Norwegian law.
So you know basically in the area where it is?
That's correct. And then we talk to the fisherman what happened, for example. We need to know that, and we search for it.
Yeah.
So this has been going on since 1993, and I think we have last year we got 1,300 gear up from the sea bottom.
Wow.
Yeah. So Norway, we are good at this.
Do you have any idea how it is elsewhere in the world?
Yes, the problem is that they don't have this system behind. They don't have the regulation which says that you have to report the lost gear, for example, and you need to manage the system. You need to have some people working on it. So other countries, they have these hotspots. They know that there has been a lot of fishing activity. Maybe we can search there.
Yeah, okay.
But that's like a needle in a haystack. So in Norway, we go through, we prioritize and see that okay, this is
huge trawl.
Yeah,
for instance,
we can find this with
Yeah.
success, and then we search for it. So I think that's the main thing that we are so good in Norway to do that.
Are you optimistic or pessimistic, Christian, in how this will be in the future?
I'm optimistic, but
Good.
I think it will take some time. Yeah, so I don't lose my job at first.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bringing our fisheries to a more sustainable way is, of course, all about solutions. And Anette from Ava Ocean, you are one of many who have interesting new innovations presented here at Nordfishing. And what is your solution?
So in Ava Ocean, we have decided to try to tackle how we access seafood from the seabed. And that is a part of the industry that has not seen much innovation at all in the last 150 years. Most of the way we catch seafood from the seabed is with metal rakes or dredgers that basically just scrape along the seabed and indiscriminately, and it's not very good for...
You get all kinds of things.
All kinds of things. It releases carbon into the atmosphere. We know very little about the damage, but we do know there's a lot of damage. So Ava Ocean, we decided to look into how we could access these bountiful resources on the seabed in a more responsible way. And we're quite lucky in Norway, in a way, because we closed down the dredge fisheries 30 years ago. So there are loads and loads of scallops in the Barents Sea that have been lying there untouched for 30 years. And we have developed this harvesting solution, or this fishing concept, that is able to precision pick seafood from the seabed without damaging it, and with releasing bycatch back into the seabed without damaging them.
And that's fantastic, because we need to get more food from the ocean, and more food also from other species than fish. So do you think there is a vast opportunity and a vast potential in all the things that's lying on the seabed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most people only have a couple of species that they eat, but on the seabed there is just so much that we don't currently utilize in a very good manner. If we utilize it, we don't look after the populations very well. We have sea cucumbers, we have scallops, we have other shellfish, other crabs that could be part of our diet in a very sustainable way if we have the harvesting solutions to
Yeah, and
reach
many
them.
of these species you're talking about are very sought after and well paid in many markets. So it should also be a profitable solution.
Absolutely. A sustainable option is a solution that not only look after the environment, but also the industry and the people who eat the seafood. So it needs to be profit. If not, there's no sustainable fishery.
And how has it been received so far?
It's been amazing. I mean, these scallops are particularly sweet. They have almost very low water content, so they have a texture that is unprecedented. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but I think they're the best scallops in the world.
Yeah, so it's mainly scallops.
Yes, so we harvest Arctic scallops. It's a slightly smaller size scallops to what we're used to in Norway, but it's comparable with a small king scallop. So that's what we harvest at the moment with our harvesting solution. But in the future, we hope that we can modify the technology to harvest other types of seafood as well.
I wish you good luck, and scallops is really fantastic.
It is one of the absolutely unsung heroes of the seafood industry.
And I think that's a very good way of making the fisheries more sustainable, making it profitable, and also giving us some of the most fantastic seafood to eat. Earlier we spoke to Christian from the Directorate of Fisheries, and we mentioned that there are some technology solutions to the problem of ghost fisheries. And Tore Halvorsen from Smart Ocean, ghost fishing is a problem.
Definitely. We know from science that there is approximately 640,000 tons of wasted fishing gear in the ocean. Killing fish and taking up bycatch that we should have as food.
Yeah, taking away fish that could be feed for humans and polluting the ocean.
Exactly, and we know that the degradation of such gear can take up to 30 years. So it's kind of devastating to think of.
Yeah.
And how we treat our oceans and how we harvest.
So why did you become interested in ghost fishing?
I was a shipbroker before, and was thinking of how can we utilize offshore vessels in the fisheries. Long story, we came out finding that that was not a very good solution. So, but then we had a lot of interviews with fishers, and we asked, what can we do to help you become more sustainable? And I was talking about fishing traps. So we started with developing large fishing traps, which we still are, where you can put out thousands of fishing traps, turn them over in a day, and have an economical kind of harvest from a sustainable fishing gear. And from there, we needed to find some solution to monitor the fishing traps. So the company have pivoted a bit over to become a technology company because we saw the problem with ghost fishing. So then we developed smart buoys with 4G, 5G and satellite that could be incorporated to the sea maps that the fisher use in their daily work. And that was a great success. So when a fisher is out with a long liner, fishing net or fishing pot, sometimes it's a bad weather condition. It's dark, you have snow and other things making it difficult to find the buoy.
Yeah.
So the buoy can wander very long distances with the current. And saving time for the fishermen, we found a buoy that they can travel directly to and save time and save money, save emission and save lost fishing gear.
So they're actually more or less, it's like an app on a phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they will see, oh, my fishing gear is not where I thought it was. And then they can go straight there and save fuel and not lose the gear.
Exactly.
And how has this been received by the fishermen?
It is always difficult to come up with kind of expensive solutions that the fishermen have to pay for. But when you see the gain, the value proposition for the fishermen, they save fuel, they save money when they're not losing their fishing gear.
Yeah.
And also a little bit safety aspect there. They spend less time on the ocean. So we have now recurrent customers and they are very happy with the solution. And we have developed the iPhone 1.
Yeah.
So this is just the beginning of the adventure.
But an interesting thing in addition to this is that you have these intelligent buoys, so they also provide lots of other interesting data.
Exactly. So when we have more and more clients, today we have 1,300 buoys out there. We are now programming, it's two-way communication, so we are programming the buoy so we can also read the wave height.
Yeah.
Which is an important information to the fishermen when to go out and harvest. But also a big data solution where we can collect data and historical data and modeling kind of forecasts. And we can also provide that information to a third party, like the government or weather stations.
So you are a weatherman, you know where people are fishing, so you know the fishing grounds, and you know where the gear is.
Exactly.
All in one solution.
A Kinder Egg.
And that shows how important innovation and the technology will be in meeting the challenges, like the challenge of ghost fishing. Green fishing gives us both opportunities and challenges. We have asked people here at Nordfishing what their thoughts are on this important topic.
Technology's got a role to play, so we can make it more sustainable, for example, by using technology such as acoustic pingers to reduce the bycatch of cetaceans.
Fully utilizing what we are catching and making sure that we are getting it in the best basically possible way to the customer and minimizing all waste. I think that's just the way of the game.
We sell plants that use the byproducts, make it into oil and fish meal. It means that there are no waste.
To keep more of the fish in Norway and in the areas where the fish comes to shore.
By exchanging some of traditional mineral oils that is used today into more environmentally friendly oils.
Ghost fishing is a big problem. Nets that have been lost during storms, it could be fish traps that have been lost and carry on fishing.
Well, you have in the pot industry, you can have more efficient gear that will have less gear in the ocean. You will get less ghost fishing and less plastic in the sea.
Acoustic trackers on nets so they can be identified, when they're lost and retrieved. You can have escape panels and hatches on fish traps or crab traps.
If you look at the choice of packaging materials that are used in the fishing industry, there is a big potential for a change using more fiber than plastic materials.
Running the correct tools on board, especially for handling oil spills in the engine room for the fishing vessels.
We are making polyethylene products and we are working very hard to get that recyclable. We take the old tubs back, recycle them and use them in new tubs. So that's our part.
So there are now some quite powerful new financial drivers that will encourage the industry to move on to transition to a more sustainable footing. So there's some positive changes, let's put it that way.
I know that the rest of the world is looking, so what's happening in Norway? Hold the talk and continue. Make sure we are going in the right direction.
In order to make our fisheries more sustainable, we need to have a greener fleet. And one of the keys to that is energy. And I'm here with Paul Ove Husøy at Corvus, and you are actually working on this now already.
Yes, Corvus Energy is the largest supplier of battery zero emission solution for the maritime industry. We have, as per today, more than 50% of the global market, and when we have more than 40 fishing vessels with our solution, with battery. In addition to that, we also have a hydrogen-based fuel cell for also zero emission.
So it is already a proven concept. We know it works, some are using it. And what are your experiences with the users?
The feedback we have from the user have invested and installed battery to reduce the consumption and increase the safety is very positive. They say that they have a safer working environment, better comfort, they can stop the main engine, silent operation, and also they are reducing the cost in fuel and also the reduction in emissions. So the feedback, I talked with the chief of Selvåg Senior, one of the vessels.
Yeah.
He said biggest mistake they'd done was installing too small battery. It should be 3 times larger so they could have more operation in zero emission.
Yeah, and you are using this on all kinds of vessels?
Yes, the biggest in the start was the ferry, coastal ferry in Norway, zero emission operating. That was the first boom. Then we come the offshore vessels, and now we see in the passenger vessel, we see it in the aquaculture. We are ready. We just have to find a good solution together with our...
You have to get more fishermen to use the solution.
Yes. And it's coming.
Corvus, they are building batteries, but you, Erik, you're building the whole boat.
Yes, but battery is of course a very important part of both the boat and the vessel and the construction and the transition we are talking about.
And what kind of energy do you see will be the most important in making the fleet greener?
It depends on the political decisions.
Yeah.
They are totally absent today.
Yeah.
Regarding seafood industry. And it depends, for example, where you intend to fish. If you're near the shore has shore power, so then you can charge batteries and you can fish with batteries. If you want to go further out, you need biofuel, hydrogen, ammonia, methanol, and these new technologies.
But do you build boats with all these different solutions?
We have built a lot with battery and are now currently building one with hydrogen.
But this challenge is still with us because there are some years ago when you built the first ever electric fishing boat.
Yes.
When was that?
2015 we delivered, we started 2012-13.
And how do you think this is progressing?
Oh, of course, with batteries since 2013, a total revolution in Norway. But not for fishing, but for fish farming, it's total revolution.
Normally, you would think that these areas are so closely linked that it should follow. What's stopping it?
No, the fish farming, it seems that it's the customers or the salmon buyers.
Yeah.
We shall have it more sustainable. The second thing is that they are very close to the shore, so you don't need this total infrastructure along the coast. As for example, when we shall make the Hurtigruten, zero emission.
Are you an optimistic guy, Erik?
For some sectors, change has come, but in total, the emissions is going up.
So we need to move even faster. And Erik and others who are working on getting the fish fleet more green are at least ready to go. Later in this program, you will meet the Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Policies of Norway. But in every episode, we will also meet representatives of the next generation. Is it the new generation that will help us get more food from the ocean in a sustainable way? I'm here now with the Young Fisher of the Year, Erik from Solund in western coast of Norway, and Hanna Bakke-Jensen from Young Fish. First of all, congratulations, Erik.
Thank you very much.
How does it feel to be awarded the Young Fisher of the Year?
First of all, I didn't expect it at all, because
I didn't feel young, as I said to Hannah first when she called me. But she explained that you're still young when you're under 40 as a fisherman, so I'm most proud about that, to have a blanket or a diploma where I can show people that I'm young.
Yeah,
so
and Hannah, you have to explain what does it take to win this high-hanging award?
It was an interesting process this year. It's the first time we've ever awarded it. Young Fish is 10 years this year, and we wanted to do something to celebrate that. So with following the fair's theme, we wanted to do fisheries this year so that we can do aquaculture next year. And we had a jury with a lot of discussion, which was, to be honest, just fun to be able to actually just sit for an hour or two and discuss the young talent in the industry. We weren't discussing problems, we weren't discussing challenges, we were discussing which young people do we have that will contribute to moving the industry forward. And Erik was one of the names that came up, both because he's a great example of young fishermen who actually managed to move or build their career in an industry that's challenging, but also because he's engaged in the politics of the industry and contribute that way through organizations to develop the industry and the fleet.
And Erik, I have been out fishing with your father.
Yeah, you have.
In the waters where you have your daily work. And I assume that you didn't have much of a choice when it comes to occupation.
I did actually, because my father told me not to become a fisherman.
But you didn't listen to him?
No, I didn't. Because the feeling you have when you get the big catch, it's better than everything. You can compare it with the first kiss with a girl you like. We have that feeling every time we get a big catch. So it's like falling in love many times a year. So it's I'm very lucky to have a profession like that.
And what kind of fisheries do you work with?
We mainly fish after herring, mackerel and cod in the North Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. And you have, of course, been aware of being here, the challenges that we have to bring more food from the ocean, and there's challenges in making the fish fleet greener, species are migrating, there's ghost fishing, and we need to eat more. So what's your perspective as a young fisherman and solving these issues?
Solving issues, yeah. First of all, we need a sustainable outtake of the fish, so we don't fish too much, so we can harvest for many, many years in the future. And with the pollution we have with both ghost fishing and other things, I think the modern technology will help us there, because we have much more information now than we used to, and with the equipment, with the prices are so expensive, we cannot afford losing them either. So
no, that's true.
We have to think about that also.
Evidently you love being a fisherman, and how do you see the recruitment for the industry?
The recruitment has been really good the last years, because of we have had some amazing years in fishery. As I was taught as a young boy that we have always 7 good years and 7 bad years. But since I started as a fisherman in 2007, we only have everything is going, only good years. So that's not normal at all. So I think the young fishermen that are coming into our work now, they haven't felt the bad years. So I think there will be some tough years the next one, because the quotas are going down, the costs are going up. So I think the good times are over for a bit now, but hopefully it's interesting how deep we will go before it goes up again, because that's the hope we have. We know it will go up again, but we don't know when.
It is a generation thing.
Yeah.
We have to continue getting more food from the ocean.
Yeah.
And you're not giving up.
No, not at all. I will continue fighting.
You love it, and you, Hanna, will be back then next year for Aquanor with another young representative of this very exciting business.
Young fish will, at least. I don't know if I will, but at least young fish will, yeah.
So good luck out in the beautiful area of Solen, and I hope you get some good catch, so that Erik will still fall in love every time he goes out to sea. There are different sides to this dilemma. On one hand, we have the actual fisheries carried out by the fleet, and on the other hand, we have the need for energy to fuel the fleet. To highlight this theme, we have talked to Jon Isaksen from Nofima. I'm at the Research Plaza and I'm sitting here with scientist Jon Isaksen from Nofima, and we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges of making the fleet more sustainable and what are really the key issues there in your perspective.
The Norwegian fishing fleet is emitting about 2% of the total emissions in Norway.
Yeah.
And as you know, we have great ambitions for reducing this according to the Paris Agreement and our own climate act, so to speak. So up to 2030, we should more than half the emissions of the Norwegian society. The challenge is that they are on fossil fuel. They are using marine gas oil, most of them. And the thing is that there are very few alternatives. You have biodiesel, which is nil emitting, and you have LNG, which is emitting about 80% of the marine gas oil. The challenge is with all other green energies is that they are demanding much more space. So in order to use, for instance, hydrogen, ammoniac, LNG, you name it, vessels has to be greater. And it costs more energy to take, even building a vessel that is 10 or 20 meters greater costs energy because you have to...
So what you're saving might be used
elsewhere
to make a bigger boat do the same work. Yeah. So what you're saying is actually we're coming from a quite good position, but we want to be even better.
Yeah, we should be better because this is a transition we all are going through. And the only, or the main measure from Norwegian authorities is through the CO2 tax.
Yeah.
There are huge dilemmas in this because I think at least fishermen, like the rest of us, should pay for their negative effect on the environment.
Yeah.
That's true. But on the other hand, the great consumers in the fleet, the offshore vessels who are probably using 80% of the consumption of the fleet, they are so large, so they can bunker in other countries without this CO2 tax.
So if the tax is only implemented in Norway, it will only be the small fishermen who will pay it.
Exactly. And they are really performing very well because they are using very little diesel per kilogram of fish. So they are kind of those who are the worst off. But the really losers is the environment because the guys going to Shetland or Iceland or Greenland, wherever they are bunkering, they are using more fuel. So even though you have this carbon leakage where you go abroad, which have a great effect on Norwegian climate statistics or emission statistics, but in fact they are using more in order to get this cheaper fuel out of Norway.
And it's the same ocean.
Yeah, it is actually.
So if it's going down in Norway and going up in another place, it doesn't really help the environment.
Not at all. There are many things also with the regulation of the fishery. We have the international agreements. For instance, we are trading cod in the Barents Sea for Greenland halibut in Greenland. You could have the smaller vessels taking the Barents cod, but instead we are trading it to Greenland vessels who comes in the Barents Sea.
All the way from Greenland.
Yeah,
fishing.
And we are sending our trawlers to Greenland in order. But these are international agreements. They are not easy to do anything with. But from a greener perspective, perhaps we shouldn't do that.
It's a very complicated area to be a scientist in.
It's terrible. I hate it.
But we still need more food from the sea, so we need to solve some of these challenges. For everyone here at Nordfishing, ocean policy is of course vital. And that's why I'm so happy that we have the most important person in the Norwegian government with us here, the Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Policy, Marianne Sivertsen. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here.
Yeah, and you have spent some days here. And have you had any good fish?
A lot of good fish. And I have to mention one thing especially. And that was last evening. I had the opportunity to taste ceviche with haddock.
Wow.
I think it's the best thing I ever been eating.
Yeah, and haddock isn't originally your favorite fish.
No, so I was quite surprised because I love ceviche, but with haddock, It was so good.
So many opportunities.
Yes, that's true. Really.
What is your favorite fish?
You know, when I grew up, we had fish for dinner 4 times a week. So at that time it was salmon. But when I got older, I like cod and a lot of different kinds. Sushi is also a favorite for my family.
Yeah, and of course, now being a minister, you have to like all fish.
Of course,
yes.
And luckily I do.
This is, of course, an important meeting place. And one of the topics that's really high on the agenda is how do we make our fleet greener, more sustainable? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an ongoing job, and we have to make sure that we have the technology and to make sure that the whole fleet has solutions to go from fossil fuel to renewables. But it's not easy. So we have to develop new technology, and we have to make sure that we do it in a pace that we make sure that the fisheries also can do this in a sustainable way.
And I think when we see all the things exhibited here, one can be a bit optimistic when you see all the technology that's displayed here.
Really, so it's quite impressed of all the things, also when it comes to technology at Nordfishing, really. So yeah, we have to make sure that we decrease the emissions, but it's not easy, but we take it step by step, I think.
Yeah, I think that's very sensible. Another, of course, challenge is that we can see that fish are migrating.
Yes.
And being then responsible for coastal affairs and our waters, how do you cooperate? The sea is, of course, a lot of nations fishing in the same sea. How does that work?
And Norway has taken an active role when it comes to the international fisheries cooperation. We have, when it comes to the development of international regulations and for the management of fisheries and the marine environment. So for us it's very important that we have to have this close cooperation, because there's no borders at sea and the fish goes wherever it wants to go. So of course we have to make sure that we harvest in a sustainable way and make sure that we can do fisheries for generations to come.
Yeah, the mackerel doesn't have a passport.
That's true.
Yeah. And how do you think it will influence the fisheries that, due to the climate change, some of the species wander, and some people say maybe all of a sudden our cod will be on Russian side. How do we deal with that?
Yeah, that is quite a challenge. Of course, we can see that climate change have a significant impact on fisheries. So I think we have to make sure that we have the knowledge, science, and we have to keep an eye on it. And of course, also in these kind of questions, we have to have a close cooperation with our neighbors when it comes to sustainable harvesting from the sea.
A lot of fish from the sea is used for other things than human consumption. And how can we get people to eat more and get more of the valuable things from the sea into human consumption?
It's a good question.
Thank
I think
you.
we have it's actually a challenge, because what we see is in lots of countries we eat less seafood, and we actually should eat more, because it's food from the ocean is more sustainable and it's healthy, and and we also have to make sure that we use the whole fish. So this is an ongoing job, I think, and also to educate the young people about different kind of opportunities when it comes to fish.
So what is your sort of impression after being here, minister of all this? When you leave here, what do you take with you?
First of all, I have to say I'm really proud, because there's so much knowledge, there's so much ambitions, and the way the fisheries and the marine sectors are leading on to make sure that we have safe, healthy food from the ocean. This is where we have a proud history, and we're going to lead the way into the future as well.
So that's important, that the challenges are addressed, and also important that the most important person in the Norwegian government has been here at Nordfishing. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you.
Of all the services, people, innovation and technology displayed here at Nordfishing, we are in each program presenting our catch of the day. Our catch of the day today is you, Bernt. And what is your solution for a better and more sustainable way of fishing?
We provide the industry with the hybrid vessels, so we provide the total solutions with the vessels, with the hybrid system and the full propulsion system that are designed to be able to operate either in a combination with a generator or fully electric. So we're a full boat supplier with a green solution.
And where is this competence coming from?
We have our head office in Trondheim, so we heavily rely on the good educational system at the NU and the talents that are available here. But we also have an office in Rørvik, where we also have 10 people who work even closer with the industry. And a lot of the partners that are in the stand here, they are from that partnerships, where we have Vikna Slipen who builds vessels, we have Navy who delivers bridge solutions, so you see a great range of the products that we actually have on board our vessels.
So this is actually a cluster in itself.
This is a cluster in a cluster. We try to show the breadth and then give the opportunity for our customers to see what they get when they buy a boat from Momarine.
And who is driving this innovation? Is it the customers or is it you that are persuading the customers to take a step in the right direction?
That's a very good question. Very good question. We build ships for storage, not on speculation, for storage. So that gives it an advantage that we can take technology decisions before the clients really know that they need them.
Okay.
So we select hybrid system very early on, and we build them for storage. It takes 2 years to build, and then we work with the clients to ensure that they understand that this is what they need to operate in this new environment that we have. Because everyone understands that if we're going to live off the oceans, we have to stop global warming. You know, the climate refugees, and then I'm talking about the cod and the salmon, they're moving north, and we have to stop this to enable this industry to function in Norway. So we're all in it together.
So you have what the customers don't really know that they need yet.
Exactly. And we work close with the customers, but sometimes you have to help them. So it's exactly the point that where we're at.
Being in the forefront is quite a good idea if we want to make our fisheries more sustainable, like our catch of the day, Moen Marine. Obviously, there is a lot of exciting solutions presented here at Nordfishing. But while at Nordfishing, there is the fantastic city of Trondheim to explore. I was so lucky to be invited to the mayor's reception at the Archbishop's Palace. The exhibition at Nordfishing is, of course, very important. It draws thousands and thousands of people from all over the world, but Mayor Kent Ranum, what else is there to discover in Trondheim?
In this capital of gastronomy, I would say the fancy restaurants, the good restaurants, the beautiful people, the beautiful nature, and the historical paths all the way from south into this, which is also the religious, historical, cultural capital of Norway. So there's no reason not to come.
It's a very, very good reason to come to Trondheim. In this episode, you have seen that there are problems and solutions in making our fisheries greener. We have a proud history in Norway of being in the forefront of developing the fishery sector. But with challenges comes also opportunities. And in our next episode, we will go deeper into the theme of food or feed. Be sure to check out Food or Feed. See you in our next episode. Thank you very much.